back to the next episode of the Beach Court Podcast. Budew format is here. We had our first weekend. Max and I tested a good bit. Parker tested a good bit. Max and I went to a cup today. Some of us did better than others. Max usually does better, but not today. So we'll talk about the big three decks that we believe are like cemented themselves to be the big three in the meta. I'll talk about Budew, because where has Budew gone? It's been a crazy week. Budew's been good, bad, indifferent. We'll give our opinions on that and discuss the meta a little bit. First, we'll have our trivia segment where I'll try and stump the boys this week with a little bit of limitless knowledge trivia. So I know Parker's been scouring this week, preparing. And then we'll close it out with our hot or not segment where we will talk about all of the decks that used to be really good that are no longer in the top three. And we'll talk about if they were hot or not. Because we're getting ready for Mexico, Merida. I learned this week, and I now have forgotten it. But anyways.
Is it always helpful if we remember how to pronounce the cities before we start the podcast?
One of these days,
instead we go hit them with let's just mispronounce all these European cities.
Merida is what I'm pretty sure it is. Anyways, we'll be there. Max and I'll be there. Hope to see you there. If you're there and you see us, say hi. We'd love to have you and talk to you. But anyways, my name's Eric Ridgway. That's Max Corcoran, and Parker Greenwell over there is coughing up a storm. He's still trying to recover from not feeling good. But boys, how's your week been? What's been going on with you?
I've been mostly sleeping, sweating, coughing, aching in bed. But I'm hyped on the new pocket set that dropped.
Hey,
yo.
Yep. I've been trying
my set.
Trying to open the Yelga EXs. I opened probably close to 50 packs now. I've opened 0, obviously, but got some Darkrai's. I got
a
Gallade. I got a playset of Pachirisus. So shout out Sejun Park, fellow Korean. Eric's opening his pack on the podcast right now.
Gotta open, bro. You missed it in the San Antonio where we opened packs on the dance floor and everybody got to celebrate.
Pull like the Celebi immersive, yeah.
All right, let's see. Nothing.
For anyone who's not watching on YouTube, Eric is tapping through his pocket.
He's opening.
He's getting a bunch of garbage. Yeah.
Hey, what is that?
You got a shame. Yeah, nothing fancy.
Whoa.
And anyone who knows me knows that I absolutely I can't sack in the game enough, playing Cards on the Table, but I absolutely sack in opening packs. I've opened up probably I did one set of the 10 packs for the Palkia set in the TCG pocket, and I just opened my free pack yesterday. It's in my free pack, and it's oh cool, immersive Palkia. Sick.
Dang it, Matty. I don't pay for any packs. I only open the 2 free packs per day because I don't play it, so I don't that's literally all I do is open packs. Yeah, and that pack sucked too.
Yeah, nice pack, bud.
But yeah, I don't play the game yet. I probably should, but I'm trying to focus on my wife and having a baby soon and being good at the trading card game. So I just don't have a lot of time to put into it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is the time to get back in trading card. Even Jake Gearhart, who said he is taking an indefinite break from the game, came back to play Budew format. So.
I find it funny that him and Etchy got paired in the first round, so it was like DDG tabletop all over again.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic for separate podcasts. But shout out to Parker for doing the podcast last weekend and then immediately basically dying. And being like, "Hey Parker, how you doing?" It's I feel absolutely terrible. I can't talk. It's well, you made it through the podcast just fine. I barely noticed.
Shout out Parker.
Shout out Parker.
Yeah, shout out Parker.
Yeah. For me, again, a chill weekend, trying to balance Pokemon, health, all that stuff, getting ready for the gauntlet of events, going to Merida, going to Puerto Rico, and going to UIC. So it'll be a lot of fun, or it'll kill me. I'll let y'all know once I'm back. But yeah, we got to do some karaoke with some friends yesterday. I'm always a huge karaoke fan for anyone who knows me.
Dang, thanks for the invite, bro.
It was with the acapella group. So it was the most semi-professional unpaid singers in Jacksonville that align into the group called The Staff. By the way, if you're a local singer in Jacksonville, want to sing, come by. Wrong advertisement, wrong audience for the advertisements. But if you like to sing,
Maddox, who has sung 2 songs on this podcast?
Anyways, so today I also played 10 hours of Pokemon probably, so my brain's a little fried. I just kind of got home, sat on the couch and disassociated for 30 minutes, and now I'm here on the podcast, so great to see you all.
talk more Pokemon.
Yeah.
Hey, you played Lugia into the cup today. How was that experience?
Yeah, Lugia is a very strong deck. It works very well when you discard Archeops and then can summoning star them. I did not do that often until maybe like turn 3, sometimes 4. I'm trying to think if I ever got, I never once got to say my favorite thing, which
Ultra
is
Ball, double
I'll
chops.
Ultra Ball away Archeops and Archeops. Did not ever get to do that. Tried to rip a Pokestop, hits discard some Archeops, did not. Yeah, some poor draws. Also could have played a little better, but it wasn't my day at the cup because it was Eric's day at the cup, who brought it home with Dragapult, Charizard, and got 24 packs of Surging Sparks, which is honestly probably worth more than like the global economy right now. So
yeah, I'm excited to rip these. Maybe I'll rip a couple on this podcast. So if you're over on Spotify listening, thank you for listening. But jump over to YouTube and maybe you'll catch some pack openings while we're through this podcast. And I'm talking.
Subscribe while you're there.
Subscribe while you're there. Exactly.
I'll
I literally changed my deck like the day of. And I usually don't do that. And I've had 0 reps with this deck. Hi Dragon, let's go. Anyways, open packs, got a Hey Dragon. I literally had 0 reps of this deck, but I'm a big fan of Oscar Madsen when he has really cool decks that come out. Speaking of which, he just came out with a Glamora Dragapult deck, which is pretty interesting.
Bro's cashing in on those Metafy classes.
Yeah, he
Props to him.
really is. And I must say, I have not gone and done one of them, but I'm sure they're great. But anyways, I played Dragapult Charizard to the cup today because I knew there was going to be some Maridon. I knew there was going to be some Cloth. I just wanted some big, bulky attackers. And I was like, okay, well, I really want to play Guardy, and I don't want to just lose to Lugia. And so, I kind of thought through those decks, and I was like, all right, well, what can beat Lugia? What can do well? Obviously, Maridon can do well. But, I was like, okay, Heroes Cape, Zard, Hold, right? The cape is specifically for Lugia, so you can't get knocked out by a Regigigas.
Jamming Tower.
But most are not playing that, right? Overall, if you look at 80 to 90% of all Lugia lists, they're playing 2 Messagoza, and that's their stadiums. For the most part, right?
Mm.
There's definitely some jamming towers out there you're gonna worry about, but it's pretty cool to have that option there. And if you hit some Cloth decks or you hit some ancient boxes or random small decks, even some random Giratina Lost Zones that were in the room, just put the cape on there. Even against when I hit Raging Bolt, just being on a Raging Bolt, cape your Zard protects from the
mod.
Yeah,
the 3 energy Ogerpon.
The 3 energy Ogerpon, right? So I ended up losing that match. But anyways, took it down in top 8. Top 8, I hit the Diplin deck in the room. I'll tell you what.
Festival lead, cooking.
Festival lead Diplin. He knew what he was doing. Matthew, shout out Matthew. He's new to the local scene. He knew what he was doing, how to play that deck very well. Very, very well. He even had Kieran Max Belt. He could Oko one of my guys. And I was nervous about that. And I got donked game 1. I'm like, bro, this is gonna happen in top 8. Come on. But the 40 HP guys is just awful. If they don't play Raska, it was just so. It wasn't free, but it was favored for sure. There was one turn where he got a slow start because I Bedewed him, and literally I wiped an Applin and a Diplin and 2 Applins from the board in one turn because I'd already set up damage on something else. I was like, Alakazam, move 2 to one of the Applins, and then pop, take 3. So I beat that, and then beat Chris Wigglesworth in top 4. He's playing the Cloth Terapagos deck, pretty close set. Game 2, I was ahead most of the game, but I kind of had a slow start, so he was able to take some extra single prizes here and there. And I owned him to 1, and he specifically has to find a boss KO because he can't KO active, and he gets boss off top. And I'm like, bro, didn't draw any cards, no Fez, nothing, right? I didn't trigger Fez, and he just finds the boss. Okay, whatever. And then we won a really, really close game 3. And then finals was against Ancient Box. Ancient Box is free with this deck, so it was not bad at all.
Yeah.
You just set up your big guys and just take knockouts and punish them for benching Fluttermane and Greninja, and that's really
Surprised they did not play enough ancient cards to hit 430.
Well, and that's the thing. You don't cape the guy mid game. You cape the guy at the end when you Ion. So after you let them 2-hit the first one, and then you Iono, KO, Cape, and you're just like, deal with it.
Yep.
So that went really well, and I was able to pick up the dub. Like I said, got pretty good packs. Got 304 cups done now. Finally, I need just one more cup so we can be done with these cup chasings on the weekend, man. It's so annoying, but we got it done. I think the list is again, it's my first time playing the list. Parker, I know you have some questions, so I'll get to those in a second. The 2 psychic and the 1 energy search was like the only like inherent issue that came up more than once today, where I was just like, God, I really need to find the psychic. Like it was always like, I gotta find the psychic. You know, if you prize one and then like it gets discarded or whatever, then you gotta find the night stretcher or the rod. And like, I don't know. I know reason why they don't play vessels because like there's so much like little space in this deck that you don't want to get 2. You don't want to discard a card. I don't know, but maybe there's a merit to like finding room for another energy search because that card was very, very good. But yeah, Parker, what are your questions? I know that this is the first time you saw the list I picked up today. What are your questions?
I had to ask, does Zard carry any of your matchups today? Because I know I've seen like some Dragapult lists where they play like a 101 Zard line in them, but you play
Right.
a 212.
2-1-2.
Was there any ones where you just went like, rah, here's 2 Charizards instead of Dragapult?
I think the biggest piece for Charizard in this deck is that obviously it's there to help you set up your pull because you don't play Crispin or Crystal or anything like that. And it's also there just to be like a late game bruiser that's just like on the board. Like once you do something, my opponent, I'm going to murder anything you have as 300 HP. Like, because I'm going to be doing 300 at the end of the game. Right. And like there was just some games where like I just have him sit on the bench with 2 energy on and he's just so super powerful. Where is my matchups? I have him up. Where's my training card? Okay, here we go. So my matchups today were I hit the Ogie Dogie round 1. Newer player, it wasn't really a great build. So I was able to win that one. The Cloth Trapagos, they played Electrodes, so they were able to KO the Zard, so I kind of just stayed towards the Pult. The Pult matchup, yeah, I mean, to answer your question, no. I mean, I used Zard more in the Ancient Box than I did anything else.
Right.
But it's more just like the threat of it being there and just like,
Yeah.
I'm going to hit a big number very easily. Like the Charmander being on the bench or as a Charmeleon or something is just like a big threat for them. They're like, I can just, with a single Zard in my hand, I could just hit 300 right now. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I didn't find it very useful only for itself, but I could see that being a thing you do against like Maridon. You just set up 2 Zards and go, all right, cool, deal with it.
The old way.
Yeah.
Well, I see.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry, one thing I just want to joke. I mean, like, I think what your point about saying, hey, you just have the Charizard just looming there, right? I think, it's without saying that 2 of the strongest attacks in the game right now are just Phantom Dive and Burning Darkness. So you're able to slap both of them into a deck, kind of trading off no engine for the threat of these 2 powerful attackers. You need to be able to set all of them up. I just think it's really cool to see.
I was opening cards mid-speech.
Listen, if you're listening to the podcast and like doing something else or driving or like, or maybe scrolling TikTok at the same time, Eric is literally doing that live. He's by opening packs. He's like, man, Maddox is talking. All right, time to rip some packs. Put out in the comments below if you start doing something else when I start talking, because I would love to know. See how I can be more engaging.
Hey, yo, Togepi? Dang, these packs suck. I should sell these.
Hi, have you ever been start charging Sparks before? You've already opened an SIR Pikachu. Like, you think you're gonna get another one?
I need to put it in my deck next weekend.
Shout out to shoot, who was the guy who lost to Landon in finals? The other Maridon. I forget his name.
I don't know, but he had a blink on deck, didn't he?
That's what I mean. Yeah, I mean, he was like, that was like the weekend of release, and he's playing like the max rarity everything.
Yo, got the optimal Magnemite, 60 HP, reverse hollow.
Not it's the other one I'm playing. Kenneth Gilman. Sorry. Shout out Kenneth for the blinged out Pikachu.
Suck.
Anyways. All right. So I see in your list there's 2 Lumineon and no Rotom.
Yeah.
Obviously, going second, you want to Budew.
Right.
But like going first, you don't really have a play. Did you miss it at all, or
Did I miss Rotom?
yeah,
Not really.
true.
I think he's more of a liability,
Mhm.
uh, than he is drawing cards. I think like the what was great about having two Luminion was being able to like freely use one early just to find the one of Lance, like in a spot where like I feel like I can get Lance, um, and just build my board with Lance. Like
Yeah.
Lance low key. Hey everyone, my name is Eric Ridgway. I'm the host of the Beach Court Podcast. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. And if you're enjoying it, please take a moment to like, comment, subscribe on this video on YouTube. It would really help out the podcast a lot. We've got more episodes, highlights, and more coming your way. Thanks for listening. And now back to the show. Not a bad card.
Lance slaps.
Lance be slapping. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like the Lance. I know some people are for Lance lovers, in the true Dragapult build, but no, it was good. Manaphy didn't come up either. I didn't have any decks that had like Manaphy that I had to worry about. Um, Radiant Alakazam is broken. That card is so good. I definitely did. I definitely did against one of my opponents today. Set up for a Budew KO for game because they were going to KO my last attacker that was hard to set up, and he added me into boss, and so I bossed, and then Alakazam moved 2 damage to it, and then Budew to kill the one prize that he had left. So I Budewed for game once today. That was great.
Crazy.
No, I think two Luminion's good. Go ahead.
Yeah, speaking of, did you like the two Badews?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I opened it enough times today where like it was good. I mean, if you look at the basic count, it's what 5, 8, 12, 13, 14. So you got 2 out of 14 chance just to open it. Which is a significant amount compared to 1.
Yeah, definitely more than 1 out of 13.
I mean, you don't play heavy ball, so you just want 1 in the deck. So you probably just play 2 to for prizing. The issue part, like the hard part, is like you never want to Evo with a Budew because the energy gets stuck there.
It dies.
Right, and then when it dies, yeah. So and then like, but if you don't open it, then like trying to get to it turn 1 is tough because like you got Arvin for rescue board maybe, but then like don't you just want stone a lot of the time because you just have, and like
no just get a rescue board.
Yeah, true. Game two against Caleb in finals, I literally went like nest ball for Luminion because I had stone in hand and like I needed to find the psychic energy. So I was just like nest ball for Luminion, attach the stone for psychic energy. And yeah, that was my interesting play of the day.
True.
But no, I think the list is solid. I think if you want to play some version of Zard, maybe this is it, right? You play a hybrid. The list feels pretty good. The 2 candies kind of sus, especially against like Raging Bolt, right? That's where I felt wanting more than 2 candies, right? Because I was like, oh, in this matchup, I can just go Zard, Zard, Zard. But like, since there's no Radzard, I can't go Radzard. So, ran out of candies pretty fast first time.
You let him get 1,000,000 cards in hand and attack with Radiant Alakazam or something up.
Yeah.
There we go. Now we're cooking.
Now we're cooking.
Whoa.
Yeah. This felt good.
In Infernal Rain to power up your Alakazam, attach the Psychic, Mind Ruler. 12 cards in hand, Mind Ruler KOs a Raging Bolt. Hold up. Might be onto something.
I got 2 reverses in this pack. Nothing else good though.
Sorry. Did you just say you got 2 reverses in this pack?
Yeah.
Every pack has 2 reverses.
Okay. 2 future reverses.
They must be super playable cards, aren't they?
The nice future, the future has like the nice reverse hollow pattern, bro.
Oh, they must be super playable cards.
Listen, this Iron Bundle is MVP. Oh wait, wrong one.
Where?
What other questions you got, Parker? Anything else?
Do you like the cape, or do you think you'd want Crystal back in, or even something like Prime Catcher?
I didn't hit any Lugia.
Lucky you dodged me.
Bro, I would have bodied you.
Nah, you wish.
However, cape. I used it against the Difflin deck and the Cloth deck and the Ancient Mox, and it was very good against them. And I think if you hit Lugia, that's what it's for, right? Is just to prevent the the Gigas KO because Gigas is inherently very, very good. And it came up early with Wigglesworth in game 2. I put it on. I opened it, so I put it on a Dreepy, so I couldn't get item lock KO'd. So that was pretty interesting. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good. I didn't miss Crystal much, except for when I was like having a hard time finding Psychic a couple games.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The last question I had was, you think E-Search is better than Vessel specifically?
It's really, really close, honestly. Like I think Oscar, and I know a couple of people are playing the deck too. They said it's hard to find cards to discard, and that's very true. It's hard to find. So like I think that's why they're playing the E-Search, is because it's just so efficient. And you don't have to discard cards. But I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think E-Search is correct, but like maybe there needs to be a second E-Search, right? Like if Manaphy isn't like as needed in format, maybe you can cut Manaphy for second E-Search, or even third Psychic. Also, I could see being correct. But there's not many times you want 2 energy, right? You only want 1 usually, unless you're going into Evo and then want to attach next turn, right? So to answer your question, I think E-Search is fine.
Good.
Also we got our first hit. Also,
is a slacking EX, known for its born in slack ability.
Born to slack.
Oh, born to slack.
Born in slack.
All right, well,
Parker, were you born to slack?
I was actually. I was also born in it.
Yeah, I was born in slack. I'm glad you were born to slack. But
Bruh, what is wrong with y'all?
Anyways, if you're still listening, thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. We just ramble. That's what we do. We ramble. We open random prizing packs because
you say we do that, but we've never done that before.
Yo, we got a Titan art rare.
Art rare Satite. There we go. That actually looks pretty nice.
Well, looks pretty. Yeah, it looks very pretty.
There's so many like cool art rare cards that are just underappreciated because they're not any good. But like so many of those art rare cards, I mean, like a sleeper pick for me, like the Deerling and like the Sawsbuck from.
Oh,
is that Paradox Rift? Is that what it's from?
Was that not
Temporal Forces?
Oh, Temporal Forces.
Yeah.
They're all green.
And yeah, I mean, like it's just it's Temporal
Forces. Those cards shot up also. They're like,
did they really?
The Deerling is like close to 20, I think, and the Sawsbuck's like 25 or something.
Yeah, it's almost like there's a massive increase in demand for random Pokemon cards now.
How much is this a Titan? I'll look it up later. On that note, let's move on to our next topic, and that is our Big 3 roundtable discussion, where we also want to highlight where the heck has Budew gone. This week's results on the Limitless tournaments have been very sporadic. Some tournaments in top 16, there's as little as 1 copy of Budew. Some tournaments, there's a few more. I played Budew in my cup today and won, but there's been some cups that I've seen where people just don't have Budew in their deck, and they don't hit any Budews. Even like Raging Bolt doing well today. What's going on with the meta, guys? What are your opinions? It's early in the meta. Break it down. Parker, you start first because you've been at home testing all day. Tell us what's going
on. So I'm not Arceus tier yet, so the games haven't been like incredibly amazing for some of them, but yeah, I've just been looking at Limitless a lot, and like at the very like early stages of the meta, it was like, oh my god, Drazna!
Wait, that's what the early stages of the meta have been?
Yeah, all the decks are playing Drazna now. No,
Eric pulled a full art Drazna. Eric, by the way, unrelated, put that in Epic Splash Cube.
Yo, also unrelated, did you see that that Blitzel was playing this in his list today in Pidgeot Control?
The card is Chen Pao with its Snow Sink ability, which is basically Pumpkaboo from Evolving Skies, which is basically put onto your bench, discard a stadium, and play.
What do you need that for? Temple? Anyways, moving on.
I guess.
Sorry, Parker.
No, you're good. But yeah, like you saw a ton of Budew like very early online tournaments. I think everyone was just testing it out. But now, top three decks, only one of them kind of really plays it. The other two are just like, I don't need that guy. I have the ability to just draw cards and stuff like that. So I don't know. It seems to be withering away a little bit, but we'll see if that holds true after this weekend.
Yeah, I think what's really interesting about it is Budew is, as a card, right, in paper, it does a lot, right? It says, okay, well, any deck that is heavily reliant on items is going to be disadvantaged because you can play a Budew, and it's going to push those decks down. So decks like Raging Bolt, for example, which are very, item reliant, or even deck like Charizard, who says they're all big, Rare Candy Pidgeot, Rare Candy Charizard. Well, if they can't Rare Candy into Pidgeot, then what are they, like, then they can't Rare Candy Charizard. Like, they would be too slow, and it gives you time to set up. So I mean, some of the big three was kind of defined around decks that either utilized Budew very well or didn't really care about it. So like Dragapult, Duskador kind of rose up playing multiple copies of Budew. Gardevoir started playing Budew and really skyrocketed up to the standing. And then Lugia really just didn't care about any of that. But I think now, like, as more people have been playing and some people are saying, okay, well, if these decks that are item-based aren't around so much anymore because Budew exists, then my list can be more consistent if I just don't play Budew. And if I'm a Gardevoir opponent who, like, I think the Gardevoir who won the Tournament of Doom this past weekend didn't play Budew. They played Spiritomb, they played some other, like, softer techs, but, chose to really not go into Budew. But I mean, and honestly, other than Eric and I think maybe like Rahul, I haven't really seen anyone who's like won a cup this weekend with Budew besides y'all. So I know, you see all these different types of decks winning. And some people, again, just saying, hey, I don't really care about Budew. I'm just going to show up with my Raging Bolt, go, 4-0, and be the number one seed in the cup, like was the case for the cup earlier today. So, and it's a really interesting spot right now where it's a little bit of this game of the card is good, so we have to be prepared for it. But at the same time, if, the card's only good if someone plays it.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like we were, like, when Jirachi was a card, right? Okay, it stopped Sableye, yada, 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 right? And people stopped playing it, and, oh, do you have it? I don't know if you have it. I got to play around like you do have it, right? Like, so because it's a known meta threat, it's making people deck build differently. It's making people, play differently, I mean, just think about how many turn ones today where I was like, crap, I gotta play this Ultra Ball like before my opponent does anything, just in case I get like item locked,
yeah.
Right? And then they go sick Iono and then set up their board instead of item lock, right? And then so now that Ultra Ball is wasted, that card's at the bottom of the deck, I didn't get any value from it. I thinned some cards, sure, but I didn't get to the card I needed. But no, you have to play around it. Like your turn one, like Asma Rhydon, if you're going against any like deck that could have Budew, and you have Generator in hand turn one, you're just playing it. Like if you're going first, you're just playing that card because it's such a high value item card that you're so scared to get item lock there, right? Like even there was one turn against Chris today where I went counter catcher Budew and just like it bought me a turn. And like I was almost able to win if I didn't prize Turo where he was able to stall me out, I would have won. And it's just the format is slowing down a little bit, but there are fast turbo decks that can take advantage of the format slowing down. Such as Cerulege, such as Merida. Right? Those are the good turbo decks right now that don't need a lot to go right for them in turn one to be able to like deal with getting item locked. And it's just you have to build around it, right? Play cards like Research instead of Arven, right? Grand Tree instead of just relying on rare candies. Playing Pidgeotos in your deck if you're a Pidgeot deck. Playing TM Evolutions in your deck if you are an Arven deck. I don't know. It's interesting to me that we're in that kind of like weird spot of like, oh my god, is everyone going to play Budew? And then like all the people that are like, I'm not playing Budew. Like, I'm going to make you think I have Budew. Right? But it's just weird to me. But if you don't play Budew, then you shouldn't get Kieran every turn because Drago's going to come back. So
If you don't play Spiritomb, Mew VMAX is gonna go run over you, right? Like,
well, we all know what Spiritomb's for. It's not for Mew VMAX.
it's for Lugia
It's
and
for
Charizard.
Lugia. It's for Lugia mostly, right? Like
It's for
Lugia
Rotom,
highly
yeah.
depends on the minions to play their game. If you
Yeah,
look at the deck list I played today, I'm playing 2 Luminion. Right?
Yeah. I think the big part for me as well with Budew is like, again, like you almost, even though you're playing items less, some decks have to be built to be even more consistent. I had a game in testing, I had a rough hand against Gardevoir, and I wasn't able to get any, like, I had a situation where I could nest ball for Rotom and not get any drippies down, or I could use Stone to get a Buddy Poffin. Sometimes in those early matchups, you would be comfortable just saying, hey, I'm just going to instant charge, just build up a stronger turn. But if the risk is, okay, I get item locked and I haven't been able to play any Pokemon search, then you're like really opening yourself up to some risk there. So I found myself in the testing, like, I think I just need to use this, Forest Steel Stone now very early just to get a couple of attackers or just get a couple of Drippies into play. Or else I won't be able to, like, find them later. Because if the Gardevoir opponent goes into Itchy Pollen, Buddy Poffin is down just a dead card. While they can keep refinementing and evoing and then eventually just get to a Gardevoir and set up everything that they need to.
Whoa, Tatsugiri EX. Holy cow.
Or
It's the card Eric pulled. Parker isn't just
suck.
yelling out stuff randomly.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the format it's gonna change. It's gonna slow down a little bit, but I think that when you build your deck, I challenge you to think outside the box, right? Just because somebody says that, like, playing 2 of a card makes your deck a 58 card deck, and it's gonna be dead most games, but that one game where you play 2 of that card and you draw into it instead of searching it off an item wins you that match, it's worth it.
Well, I like that idea. I like that. Well, I think of the right idea, but at the same time, if it's like sometimes there are cards that maybe don't have enough value to warrant playing it. I think we're in enough of an age of experimentation with deck lists that that some of the questions that used to be easily solved are not as easily solved anymore. It says, oh, go, I just play an item to find it. Well, yeah, no, maybe now that extra aggressive count of the card. Right? Some people were saying, hey, do I throw a Jacques into Charizard? Obviously the turn where you find the Jacques when you need it is great. That doesn't necessarily mean it's correct. But I think we're in an age where a lot of those questions that we would conventionally say, oh, this is a solved answer, isn't quite as solved. So be careful for, some of your favorite content creators that are going and saying, oh, this card's terrible or don't play it like this. And then maybe it's good. That's not a stab at anyone. I'm just saying, like, in general, people like listen to people on the internet too much.
Yeah, don't listen to us. That's right. Yeah,
listen to us, but don't hear
listen
what we're
to
saying.
us.
What? Wait, what are we saying? Just watch.
Listen
hey,
to
listen.
us.
We know why you're here. You're here to watch Eric open packs of Surging Sparks.
Listen to your heart when it's calling for you.
He's going to throw an ugly card on the screen, and then you're going to say, why is Eric so distracted every time Maddox is talking? Because that's what I want to know.
This is the one. Oh, shit, full art.
Palisand. That's a nice Palisand.
Oh, we got reverse Togepi.
Sleeping art. When they sleeping on you, tuck them in.
Got 2 full arts. Let's go. Parker, anything else about the meta that you've kind of thought about? You want to talk about?
So my grind today has been all Lost Tina and
Stop right now.
and it's like, since the format is by definition slightly slower, it's like slightly better, but still a little rough. Still just go Earthen Vessels, Sada, Attach, Time Catcher, Tina. I guess it's still kind of rough.
Aren't you just bedewing with Lost Giratina?
You see, I have thought about it. But, like, it is, like, kind of strong against Budew, because in, like, just Abyss Seeking through the Budew and stuff.
For sure. Yeah, Jet Energy into Abyss Seeking does not care about your Budew at all.
Yeah.
Mirage Gate does care about Budew.
Mirage Gate does.
Mirage Gate, yeah. I mean, I think...
Oh, no, he's thinking.
No, he's thinking out just opening packs.
It's just where, I keep trying to deck build with it, right? You try and get creative, and it's Budew is a very, very disruptive card. What are the other major disruptive cards in the format? Iono, Judge, right?
Words.
And Thorns, right? What deck? I mean, is it just Thorns, Quad Thorns coming back with a couple of Budew? I don't know. Like, maybe. It's maybe.
Like a deck like Quad Thorns, I think is only good because you never get access to abilities. Budew gives your opponent access to ability. Exactly. No abilities, not even once.
But my point is, like, is there a Judge deck out there? Is there a disruptive deck that we haven't really thought about yet that needs to be here, right? For example, Oscar Madsen just released his Glamora Dragapult deck, right? Glamora says you can only have 3 bench Pokemon. That's disruptive, right? Like, if you Glamora and then you Budew after you did that, like, who knows what could happen, right? Like,
you discard your 2 liabilities and then.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I feel it in these early games, and like even my set against Cloth in top 4, I'm just like, the first couple turns, I'm like sweating bullets because it's like if I can get through these turns, I know I'm favored. But like these decks that are trying to do these Budew shenanigans, they're just trying to get there. And I think I saw a tweet from Gabriel Fernandez that he's like 1800 and he's been playing Frostlass, right? Like
Frostlass.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, and Michael played that to our locals this week and it was pretty good, right? It's disruptive, it's scary, like it's going to Dusclops every turn while you're doing things. It's interesting. I'm excited to see where the format's going to go with this because I think that Japan, while they did great, it was underexplored, right? They didn't experiment enough with that card. And I noticed in the West, we're not as scared to experiment with it. So, in summary, Dragapult, Lugia, Gardy are the big 3 to beat. And so focus on beating those 3 at any tournament you're going to locally. But also respect Budew in the deck building. Right? That's it. Are the best ace specs now like the tools? Because of Budew?
No.
What's the best ace spec right now? I'd argue it's close to Crystal or something like that, or Grand Tree. I haven't seen it used yet, but it's maybe.
I mean, probably Unfair Stamp. I mean, again, like, Budew is great, but you cannot infinitely Budew unless you're Cloth Tropicos and say, I'm going to Budew every turn for 70. And, like, you maybe do that. But I feel like at some point you got to do something besides item lock. And then at that point, then you're susceptible to Unfair Stamp.
For those of you that are watching on YouTube, you're welcome. Those of you on Spotify, you didn't see what just happened. Sorry.
It's just an art Irving Brava. It's not that cool.
Whoa, chill, Maddox.
I gotta listen. I'm a big Spotify listener. I pay tremendous respect to the Spotify, to the Apple, to all the other listeners. So if you're a Spotify audio only listener, despite Eric hating on you, he doesn't hate you. He just wants you to subscribe on YouTube. That's really
I'm down to only 2 packs left, man.
And what is Eric gonna do while I'm talking the rest of the podcast? He's gonna have to maybe listen to me.
He might have to like listen or something.
Damn it. No, I got these. Very fine.
Absolutely terrible.
All right. I think that's going to do it for our roundtable discussion. We'll move on. We'll talk about the meta here in a little bit as we do our hot and not segment. But let's move on. First, we need to thank our sponsor, Nakama Anime Cafe. If you didn't know, on weeklies now, every week during locals, we are giving out Kanto badges and having a leaderboard that will be live at Nakama. We gave out our first badges last week. Maddox, did you get that?
Yeah, I got one. It was me and check the page.
First and second, get the badges.
Actually, no, it was Gio. Yeah, Gio back.
Oh, Gio, yeah.
Borrowed Merida like the good old days. Tore it up. Went 5-0 or something.
Yeah, 5-0
on a stellar run. Yeah,
401 maybe. But yeah, so if you want to get some Kanto region badges and you want to get your name up on the leaderboard and you're here in Northeast Florida, stop in at Nakama Anime Cafe on Wednesdays at 6:30. Entry is $5.
You also get like a 3-week head start on me. So you
Yeah.
better not catch up.
I mean,
Don't give him a chance.
we'll give you some catch up.
You don't
Gonna
need
bump-
ketchup to eat the food there. The food there, by the way,
The
is
food is so good. Also,
It's-
they're opening the new store right next to it very, very soon. It's a K-pop chicken. I don't know the difference between like
Mhm.
regular chicken and K-pop chicken, but I'm excited to try some new food. So it'll be opening here, I think this month sometime. So
Let's
looking
get
forward
it.
to that.
scheduled. Yeah.
All right, let's move into our trivia segment. I'm a little nervous with this question because Parker said he was scouring data, and I like to grab my data from Limitless when I ask data questions. So this is a
So-
Limitless question.
So when I scour data, I just kind of look at deck lists. I
Alright.
don't like.
All right,
I don't know. We'll see.
okay. Are you guys ready for this week's Limitless trivia
Yeah.
question?
Again, here's my thing. When you open up my Google app, the first link that's there is Limitless. I am on the site all the time.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to get this question wrong.
Yo,
Let's
type
go.
in P.
So you can't wait to get this question wrong. All right. According to Limitless TCG, what deck has the best win percentage in Prismatic Evolutions online tournaments?
Play.limitless.
Yes, play.limitless.
Is there a bottom cap for a number of games?
There is not a bottom cap.
So okay, so one person went 1-0 with Palafin.
Okay, well, the minimum that I see in all of these is 15 decks, 15 like tournaments with a deck.
Okay, all right. That's better.
14, actually, there's a 14.
Okay.
But yeah, everything in the top X here.
All right.
So that's
Parker,
your
you've been
question.
doing the research. What you thinking?
I feel like it's got to be some like not as played deck.
Yeah, it's
trying to
about that.
think.
Yeah, I want to say it's a bad deck, and I'm
Well,
like,
not-
oh, it's not actually good, but also it
Yeah.
could just be like Gardevoir.
It's not gonna be Gardevoir because a lot of people online are not as proficient as like real life players that play Gardevoir, I guess.
Yeah, Henry Chow is not playing online Mickeys. Eat Food 86 is not in those tournaments, and if he is not in those tournaments, then is Guardy really represented?
It's probably something dumb like Snorlax or I don't know.
I wish Henry Shaw was playing in these.
Honestly, grinding top ladder is more appealing to him
Is it
and
though?
others.
Like I've hit the
Yes.
point now where like I'm waiting a minute and a half between games.
Yeah, get up to 1800 or whatever. You know, the Henry Chows and Liam Halbertons and
Yeah, I'm
Hendricks
like-
were all at like
I'm like
1900.
1780 something, and I'm struggling to find opponents.
But if you could wait 5 minutes to play a game against Henry Chow, like I would take that every
Would
single
you?
day of the week.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, like
Sure.
you know, these are the best players.
sure. Anyways, back to the question.
Yeah, I mean, is there any chance that it's like a turbo deck that's popped off like a Palkia Dusknoir, like a Maridon or something that like I know it's like Gabriel Fernandez has been playing some Maridon.
He did just
I've seen
win.
some good top players playing some Maridon decks to some success, but again, it's another one of those decks that while there are the strong players who play it, there are also some not so strong players who play it. So what's the balance of that?
Is there a way it's that Fraligator deck? Is there a
Ooh.
world?
The post rotation for alligator deck with Monkey Dory and shenanigans.
That
And
deck
Hidden
is
Run Mimikyu?
cracked.
That deck's hilarious. Parker, what do you think? We gotta decide something, or else Eric's gonna start opening more packs.
Oh, they're already all opened. I got nothing.
Okay.
Oh my. I don't know. I think it's got to be something not top meta. So like it's got to be like Lax or I don't know, the
Yeah.
Alligator deck maybe.
I'm okay with Snorlax. I'll lock it in. Like you gotta be a true like Lax demon to show up playing Snorlax. So I'm
Yeah.
all right. I'm all right locking that one in.
Sure.
Locking in
All right.
Snorlax?
Yeah.
Okay. Snorlax, according to Play.Limitless, has a 51.1% win percentage. It is not good for top 10 win percentage. Fifth on the win percentage is Entei at 53.3%. That's the one that has 14 decks. It's not a lot. Fourth is Gardevoir at 53.69%. Third is Venomoth Frostlass at 54.41%.
Ain't no way.
Also only 15 decks.
Wait, it's item locked, but you have to use an energy. This is terrible.
Well, you play Budew for the first turn, and then you have the energy. And
So you
all.
never get to use. Okay, you never get to
Yeah.
use items. All right,
Yeah.
honestly, I'm about it. I'm about it.
Lugia, number 2 at 55.08%. And rounding off your number 1 choice of the day at 56.74%, we have Arceus Armarouge.
Ain't no way. Okay, it's all right. It's a bad deck. No, our Rouge enjoyers. I'm not a believer. But I haven't given it the reps. Obviously, you're cooking with something.
There's 37 people that took this deck to a tournament in the Prismatic Evolutions format, and they are 101, 74, and 3. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty
I gotta
interesting.
say, I just checked the data on mine. Since you reported that, 3 people have lost with the deck because now it's 102, 77, and 3.
Oh, well, one person won.
But 3 people lost.
Okay.
That I would have never guessed that in a million years. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah. Arceus V-Star in 2025, had no idea.
Oh, Venomoth moved up to number 2.
Hey, there we go.
It's just interesting. I like to watch these pages. It's good data. If you don't look at these things, then you don't know what's going on, what people are thinking, at least. All right. So that was fun. Let's talk about what is hot and what is not. Maddox, hook us up.
Yeah. Again, we've been seeing all these decks. Again, we've been playing this format for a while. Surging Sparks, Prismatic Evolution doesn't change too much, but there are a lot of old decks that we kind of don't know where they fit into this funky new meta with Regigigas and with Budew, and with like some people just being like, oh, I'm not playing this deck anymore because Budew exists. So some of these decks are the ones that have been around for a little while. You know of them, and we're here to weigh in on whether they're hot or they're just not it right now. So you're going to recognize a lot of these names. We're not covering any of the big 3, but pretty much everything else we're going to cover. And if we call your favorite deck hot, or we call the deck that you are the biggest hater of not, give us some love in the comments and let us know what you think. So kick us things off. Eric, hot or not, first one to you is the big bad of the format. Everyone has this deck, and if they didn't already have it, they bought it at their Target for $30. We're talking about Charizard Pidgeot. Eric, this deck used to dominate the format. It's kind of gone back and forth. Budew is out. Is Charizard Pidgeot hot or not?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, there's a lot of data on Limitless. The 40% win rate really sticks out. If Dragapults are just like turn 2, Crystal will kill your Pidgey. It's the same thing as Drago, right? And so now you're in a meta where Dragapult is killing your Pidgey every turn. And then secondly, you've got Lugia over here with his Regigigas that just goes bop. Single prize to KO your Zards. And then you've got Gardevoir, which has always been, a somewhat of a tricky matchup for Zard to navigate. I think the deck is just not hot right now. I mean, until someone shows us the build of what the Evo build is, what the Grand Tree build is, whatever kind of build we have to do to play in a Budew meta, it's just, all right, I'm going against Charizard. Sick. Nest Ball for Budew, retreat, Itchy Pollen. Your go, bud. What do you got? Like, it's tough, and that's with them going first, and we know how fragile Charizard is going first. Finding the Pokemon early, and then if they can't buddy Poffin, then it's just tough. So I think Charizard Pidgeot is not hot. Parker, you're up next. You've got the good old Cerulege. We're over here with the swords. And what do you think about Cerulege? Is that hot or not?
I think it's hot, actually. All you have to do with the deck is find draw supporters, and your Budew thanks. Give me that prize. Bye. Like,
Charcadet just bops it.
yeah,
One
Charcadet
energy.
pops it. And then yeah, like obviously items help, but you can also just research and Pokestop away your deck, and that's all you have to do really. So I think it's hot, right? I think it's hot.
I mean, it is a fire type.
It is. It
Well,
looks very hot.
The
What like
Charizard also plays fire energy, and it was not.
But they're a dark type, so they're not hot.
yeah, the lights are off.
Oh, we should have seen this one coming, honestly.
All right,
Okay.
but
Yep.
next on the list, I'm giving you our Chaladon Medics.
Archaladon. I mean, listen, this deck had a lot of hype lately, you know, especially ever since it, you know, and honestly, this deck probably had one of the hottest starts of all. As the Champions League, when Budew was first legal, Archaladon actually won the whole tournament, really put this deck on the map, and a lot of people started showing up playing it in a bunch of different ways. Like Cerulege, this deck, you know, the Duraludon can also one-shot a Budew for just one energy. And in a little bit of a similar way, items are nice, but at the end of the day, I'll research away my metal energy and evolve a Archaladon, and oh look, I just accelerated my energy, and I'm swinging for 220 over and over now. But listen, it has a little bit of a tough time into some of these decks. You know, they have to play these pieces, like the Relicanth, and you know, Guardy's tricky. But I'm going with a teched out believer in Jackson Ford, who recently let me know that they're playing absurd counts of Jamming Tower in their Archaladon list to upswing some of these matchups, show off the Evos, really get things rolling early. Again, any deck that can just thrive off of research and evolve. I'm calling Archaladon hot.
Hot. Hot off the press. I'm going to start Chronos you in the chest.
Yeah, also
Watch
Dialga,
out.
broken.
Yeah.
Dialga Restart, broken. You do need, you know, some items to probably pull it off, but it's there. Don't worry about it.
I've seen some lists like playing the black belt for extra damage. I really like that. So yeah, I could see it being hot.
Yeah. I was thinking about why you play the black belt in Archaladon. Like, what does that help with? What does 260 help you with? Bear isn't really the number. I have deduced that it is when a Dragapult smacks you for 200, and then you use the Relicanth to copy Raging Hammer. Instead of dealing 280, you deal 320 one-shotting a Dragapult. So, some free Archaladon coaching for anyone. Pick up those black belts, put in the list. But the
That's
next
interesting,
card,
actually.
you know, letting them cook a little bit. So I'm like, why would you just play Kieran? Oh, that's why you wouldn't just play Kieran. You need the extra 10 damage for Dragapult. But Eric, for you, everyone's favorite deck to love, to pilot mindlessly, or to hate and say it's a low skill pile of garbage. We're talking Raging Bolt. Eric, this deck is like 90% items. It's like 4 Raging Bolts and like 56 items or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, is this deck hot or not?
Is it hot or not? I don't think it's. God, I want to say it's hot, man. The deck just goes and it just does the thing.
Just say it's hot then.
But it's not, because you play Pokestop. So then you have to get items and you need to like do things, and it's not, you know, you need 2 energy to attack. If it was 1 energy, then sure. I'm going with it's not hot. And the reason why, you just look at the big 3. You've got Guardy, you've got Lugia, and you've got Dragapult. Yes, you're favored into Dragapult. Agreed. However, you are unfavored into Lugia and into Guardy, which are going to be probably, if not like the most, probably like 2 of the 3 most popular decks, right? And then, not to mention, you just get bodied by anybody that just goes sick. I'm going second, nest ball for Budew you, and like you can't find your energy. Like there's so many issues. Like the issue with the deck is like can't find energy, right? Can't get energy back from the discard pile. I do not think it's hot.
Just Burst Roar.
Yeah, fantastic. Burst Roar, and then
I'll Burst Roar away 4 Pokemon catchers, Prime Catcher, Superior Energy Retrieval, and 3 Earthen Vessels to draw 3 more Pokemon catchers, 2 more Vessels, and a Pokegear that I can't play.
Listen, I wanted to be good. I love it.
Just hit Sada. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean it's good into Dragapult. If you hit Dragapult all day, you'll be fine. Right? But outside of that, I don't think it's hot. But next up on the list, another turbo deck, one that's very loved on this podcast. Play it to mini regionals. Parker hates it because he doesn't like playing the lottery and hitting off a generator. It's our beloved Maridon. Parker, is Maridon hot or not?
Alright, so you know how I feel about the deck. However, I think it I think it's kinda hard right now. Cause you just uh you just do everything the first turn, play 3 generators, put 7 energies on the board. What's a Budew gonna do to you? Like, I don't know. And then you amp the Budew. They have to kill the hands, or else you're amping another guy, and then like I don't know. And then you pot that and saw and Raichu boss and kill and win.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like,
Sounds pretty
seems-
easy when you talk about it, right? I mean,
yeah, I know. I mean, that totally happens every single game, no matter what. But in all seriousness, it does kind of happen a lot more often than I'd like to admit, I guess. But I don't know. I think it's hot.
Love to hear it. You know, we love some Maridon around here.
You know what else we love?
What's that?
what do we love?
Goldango.
Oh,
That's
Do
what
we?
Maddox is going to become.
Goldango. Listen, I feel like I missed my prime with this deck. I played it. I was kind of playing it a lot right when Surging Sparks came out. I really like the Energy Search Pro. But Budew kind of pauses some issues for it, though. Again, just like you can't superior. You know, if your opponent can do any like shenanigans and just like prevent you from getting energy out, like it's really, really easy to get stuck with this deck. I don't have the reps with it, and honestly, like it's just not really seeing too much play right now. Again, a deck that used to be so solid. Having Togekiss, being able to go rare candy to that. Okay, can't rare candy with this piece right now. I think it's kind of in the same spot as a Raging Bolt, right? Where if you're able to avoid Budew, I do think you line up, fairly good into a lot of decks. Again, Dragapult still remains a decent matchup. Lugia has some issues with it. Gardevoir, still a tough matchup. The Greninja can help, but again, like the whole benefit is that you can get going early enough and wipe them off the board with a Prime Catcher Cologne Greninja, but I can't play Prime Catcher or Cologne when you're under item lock. So just due to where its tougher matchups get a little bit tougher, and its worst matchup in Gardevoir stays extremely prevalent, Goldango's just not hot right now, and it kills
I'm
me
just
to
saying
say
it's
that.
got a 52% win rate on Play Limitless.
Those are all Mickey Mouse tournaments, anyways. Love y'all who play
Hey,
online tournaments.
Hey, you know what?
What?
Hey,
When's the last time you won an online tournament?
Hey, get him, Parker. Get him.
Never.
Get him. Over here, hating on our beloved Goldango.
Don't make me start limitless list checking pages, y'all.
Listen, Abby's gonna come out here and punch you in the face if you keep talking about her Goldango like that.
Okay, I'll bet I'm the only one of you three who actually have a Goldango built like on the table right over there.
You right?
Yeah, where's your Goldango deck, Parker? You need me to grab it? Need me to show the fans? I got it double sleeved and the pretty Japanese sleeves right now.
Okay, but wait a minute. Who has a limitless page with Togekiss?
Who cares? But what we do care about, everyone's beloved.
No, we don't.
This deck, cornerstone of the game.
No.
Made our top 10 list for top decks of 2024.
No.
This deck, Eric loves it so much.
No.
He's never played a game of it. He only tells everyone I know to never play this deck again. We're talking about none other than Lost Zone Tina.
Do I have to do this one? Bro, this deck is so not it. Let me tell you all the ways it's not it. Right? Number one, you're going to get Budewed, and you can't play any Mirage Gates. Number two, they're going to Iona you to 2, and then Budew you until they can beat you. Number three, you're going to get Budewed again, so don't play the deck. And then number 4, you're going to Flower Selecting into Prime Catcher Gigas. And you'd be like, what the hell, man? Like, I need the Giga for this matchup. I need Prime Catcher. I need this. I need that. I have a 4-card deck. I've got Tinas in my deck. I can't find my Tinas. Where the heck are my Tinas, man? This deck sucks. It's always sucked. It always will suck. Yes, I played it to Worlds. I was a terrible player that season. The deck sucks. It's not hot. It's not good. Don't play it.
Hey,
You play like
first of all,
cross switchers or something in your list?
No, I got beat by all the cross switchers because my deck sucked and theirs sucked worse, but they had more boss than I did.
Parker, you're the Tina enjoyer. Do you care to defend these cruel, harmful words to any Tina belovers out there? Any beloved Tina
If you think
enjoyers?
Tina is a good deck, jump in the comments after you press subscribe and tell me why Tina is a good deck.
No.
Parker is like,
Parker's dying at the thought of having to defend lost Tina. He is struggling to put the words together.
Listen, I think it's not bad. I think with Drago not in format as much, it's pretty okay. It's not like the best deck, but like I don't mind getting Budew because that's a pretty free prize for like anything. You can even kill it with Comfy if you want. But like I don't know. Like I was saying, like they Budew you, okay, chorus, abyss seeking, and then like they Budew you again, you just abyss seeking again. Like it is rough. Like Lugia is a tough matchup. Like no matter what, even if they brick, it's still a tough matchup. Um, Gardevoir is also a tough matchup. That one's actually a really fun matchup. I think it is pretty skillful, and you both kind of try to play from behind. But, um, and then like against Dragapult, it's a little tricky, but you throw a Regigigas in there, and then you Star Requiem one, like it kind of set.
Sorry, are you defending them? Are you defending Tina by saying it's bad into all the big three?
yeah, pretty much.
All right, just checking. All right, just checking.
They're winnable matchups, but everything else, like against everything else, you had a pretty good shot.
Fantastic. Just by Cerula, just that.
Yeah.
At least you can play Briar with Ceruledge.
Anyways, we're moving on from this deck because I'm so over Awesome. Let it die in peace. Listen, it just needs to die. Let the flowers get selected in the graves. Okay? That's it. The flowers belong on the graves. That's where they belong.
Eric, I think, is just like suppressing his deep love for Comfy and flower selecting since he enjoyed it for so long. Once it rotates in a year from now, he's going to say, hey, man, I kind of miss playing Turbo Lost Box.
Yeah, he is.
And if you ever hear him say that, just go to a clip of this podcast episode and be like, defend this! Defend what you've done!
Remember when I was 5-1 with the Sablezard?
And then I got freaking wheezinged out of the game. Anyways,
remember that time I played a mirror against Caleb Gettimer?
Got destroyed. Moving on, we're done with Tina. Tina has left the building. Next up on our list is the good old faithful Roaring Moon. Wait, I meant baby Roaring Moon and Ancient Box. Gardevoir's back, so Ancient Box has to be back, right, Parker?
So, like, sure, that's like a matchup that you can win. You're pretty okay. I think as long as you know how to play it against like Rhydon, it's good. Good into bolts. They're playing Togekiss, I guess. Pretty decent into like Cloth. Lugia's like.
Bro, please tell me why Ancient Box has a 28% win rate against Maridon.
Oh.
What?
Ow. What are y'all doing? Your mice turn off like mid-turn or something? Like,
dude, what?
What are y'all doing?
No, I know. Because look at these numbers are just all fake. Because if you look at all the decks against decks that people actually play, they're all terrible matchups. They're all terrible percentages.
Oh, like what are y'all like benching Ninja gets handsed and then you like stretch her back and they hands it again or something like
pass with Ninja in the actives.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, never mind.
Oh no. Is it hot? I would say it's lukewarm.
Lukewarm.
Parker, we're in a world of hot or not. Need you to commit to one just for the bit.
I'm gonna say not.
Ooh.
Not right.
I'm just saying it beat Maddox, and it also beat Anthony today with Gardevoir. So maybe it's good.
Ancient Box does not beat Gardevoir.
I mean, it
I'll
won
leave it at that.
in a best of 3.
Oh, wow.
It's-
It won one game. Wow, it won 2 games. Oh, man. Yo, guys,
It's-
I was on ladder. I won 2 games with Palafin EX, and I threw in a Dragapult line, and I threw in a Mew VMAX. Guys, this deck is S tier. I was undefeated. I won 2 games because one, my Maridon opponent squawked away 4 generators and then conceded. Like, that was fine.
Money match.
Money match, bro. Money match.
Guardian to Ancient Box. Best of 5.
Who's taking? Like none of us want to play those decks. Who's
Not
playing?
me.
What's this? Who's doing this matchup? We just throwing stuff out there. Who's got the bankroll for this? We give away Eric's bulk. Like we got nothing. What are we doing?
Stack gold stack.
We could have sold. We could have sold the packs,
Like 150
and
bucks.
Eric wouldn't have to
probably.
edit the podcast. But instead, we got a full art Palisand DX.
Listen, man, I could have got a Pikachu. I could have got a Pikachu.
Gosh.
Who's up next? Oh,
Yep. Again, if you're still listening, you're my
Thanks,
favorite.
Eric.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah. We'll pass this next deck of everyone's favorite sea creatures over to Maddox. The good old cloth Terrapagos.
Yeah. Here's my thing with Cloth Terrapagos. I need to find a new name for this deck because everyone knows it's Cloth Terrapagos. However, most lists are like not even playing Cloth or like maybe playing one Cloth because we're not attacking with Cloth anymore. We're attacking with Budew. Budew, poison it, throw a Mochi on it. Oh, attacking for 50 plus 30 from the hidden 80 on a Budew. Oh, you're weak to grass? Haha. It was like take big
I saw the
knockouts.
Ancient Box guy getting bodied by the cloth.
Yeah,
because he's like Budew.
Well, also played a Cobalion in his deck also, so you can go Budew into a Dark-type Pokemon for 80 times 2 plus poison. Yeah, like, listen. So here's the thing. Tina is not good into Gardevoir, Lugia, or Dragapult. Cloth or Budew Terrapagos is not good into Gardevoir, Lugia, and Dragapult. But this deck's hot. Listen, you cannot deny that it is hot. A spicy rogue play. Yeah, maybe it'll beat all 3 decks, but you know, it's like the meme of like Tina's old, it's got yellow borders, we don't like it. Oh, Cloth Terrapagos also unfavored in top 3, but this deck is hot. If you're not ready for it, if your locals aren't playing the big 3, show up with some Cloth or Budew Terrapagos, and you'll make your opponents be like, wait, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I'm getting one shot by Budew, and I still can't play items.
I gotta be honest. The first couple of turns against that deck are the scariest you can play when you're playing an evolution deck. I was like, I guess he made a misplay game 2 or something. He went trolley and didn't get Budew, and I was like, thank God I'm not getting item locked here. Like, that was like the only thing I thought. I was like, thank God. Because, like, if he item locks my Dreepy, I'm just like, bro, like, what do I do here? It's not good.
Yeah. So I'm Budew Terrapagos. I'm renaming it now. I'm saying Budew Turtle, Budew Terrapagos. Cloth is out. Maybe include one. Kind of neat, but it's a
You
Budew
still
deck
want
now.
one. You still want
Yeah,
one.
well, yeah. Maybe you need one, maybe you don't. I don't know.
Fighting weakness is good to have, and you play double turbo, so it's good to have.
Yeah, sure. I'm just gonna be itchy
You know, you
pollen.
could play. I've been cooking this.
Oh no.
And no one's done it yet.
Oh no.
You could play a Black Kyurem in the deck with 1 copy of Counter Gain to help your
For
Dragapult
what?
matchup.
Furrow.
Remember, they gotta find it.
In the great words
Recon.
in the great words of that, yeah, in the great words of that salty guide, your locals, they always have it. So, speaking of everyone's favorite deck to hate on, maybe there's that local player that you hate when they pull up with this deck. Eric, we're talking about the big man himself, Snorlax Stall.
Snorlax Stall.
Plays a lot of items, but also like if you pollen him, you can't retreat your Budew. So like, is Snorlax hot or not?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It seems like it might be okay because like it does good into all the decks that are attempting to prey on the big three. But like I don't think it's good into the big three, right? The data doesn't support it. The Dragapult Dusknoirs are playing Dusknoirs, they're playing Dusclops, they're playing Turos, some of them are playing one copy of Switch. Lugia's got 4 jet energy. You don't have enough temples to shut them off. Gardevoir, teleportation burst, can just fill their board with attackers. I don't think Snorlax is hot. I think it's not. Um I think if you show up to a major with this, I'm looking at you, Carlos Medina. It's not gonna go well for you over the course of infinity. There is a world where in 15 rounds you can hit good matchups. Yes. But I don't think we're in that world right now. Right? Let the meta develop a little bit more. Let the Miraidons cut all their switch cards. Let the Cerulets cut their Turo. Let the Lugias, I don't know, do whatever they want to do.
They're not cutting Jet.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you can't beat the big three, you're just not hot. Like, I'm sorry. Like, nobody wants to play Snorlax. It's not fun for many people. It's not fun to play against. And quite frankly, it's just not very good in the meta right now. So for me, it's a not. But another deck that has been up on the meta recently is Palkia Noctowl. Took the scene in Europe. Saw a couple of saw Alex Szymanski get top 8 with it here recently in San Antonio. But what about Palkia Noctowl? We're not really seeing this deck right now, Parker. In the meta overall, is this deck hot or is it just not?
I think at this very moment it's not, but I wouldn't be surprised if some pop up this weekend. Um, as long as you can like find a way to get fan rotom and like somehow find a Terrapagos or whatever, like, but you can't do that much against you. Palkia is a super efficient attacker. You can also just like
Greninja.
yeah, you can also Greninja. You also can Terrapagos yourself. You can even attack with Noctowl if you had to knock out a Budew. Like
Yeah.
it's
Even fan rotom like kills the Budew pretty
fan
reliably, right?
rotom. Yeah, as long as you have the stadium, don't be me and forget about the stadium thing. Oh. But I think at the moment it's not quite hot.
Over the course of the last week, it's won 2 tournaments. It won a 128-person tournament on Sunny's Weekly last week on Monday. And it won a 56-person tournament. I think it's got some spots. I mean,
Yeah,
it's it's not heavily played. Its play rate is pretty low right now, but I could see it being good.
yeah, I definitely could.
You had me cooking a little bit about like how to deal with like the early turn problem. I was like, start throwing in things like Colress's Tenacity,
Play
and
Jet.
you play Jet Energy, get Jet Stadium, bring the fan rotom up, and like you get some a little self-sustaining there, and probably easily off the Noctowl or probably even like Latias. If you have that Hoot that you started with, you can go retreat it into your Terrapagos, and then Noctowl evolves some fancy stuff like that. Since you can't like play a switch reliably, yeah, I got my wheels turning a little bit there.
Yeah. Speaking of wheels turning, someone's favorite deck that he cannot put down. Is it finally time, Maddox, to put down REGIDRAGO V-Star?
Well, the question for me to answer that is not the question we're asking. The question is REGIDRAGO hot or not? Listen, REGIDRAGO, here's my thing. Can a deck go from the best deck in the room to a deck that no one cares about?
Yes.
And my answer to that is no. A deck cannot go from top of the world to like nothing just because of some little green guy. Does the little green guy Budew make things harder? Yes. Is REGIDRAGO still very terrifying? Yes. In a world without Budew, is it good? Of course. In a world with Budew, as much as I want it to be, it's just not. Here's the thing: REGIDRAGO, all your good matchups into Dragapult and into Gardevoir are now worse. Right? If you ever go in Kyurem or you're stuck in a spot where you're reliant on items, you're very, very susceptible to Budew, where Gardevoir can set up a very strong board behind it, or where Dragapult can set up some strong Dragapults behind it as well. Lugia, a matchup that you really don't want to see with REGIDRAGO, is one of the big three now. Between all that and one of your best matchups in Charizard is nowhere to be seen. So in this world, REGIDRAGO just cannot be it. If you're Brent Tonneson and you're showing up to these tournaments, you're playing REGIDRAGO and you'll be fine. Anyone else, listen, wait for things to calm down a little bit. Wait for maybe some Budew play rates to drop. Maybe some of the decks that feast on the big three rise up and the big three takes a little back seat. I think it's the perfect opportunity for REGIDRAGO to come back. But for now, it is not.
Yeah, I don't think it's hot either. But you know what is hot? Jacob I's other deck that he cooked this week. Have you guys seen Jacob I's newest EV deck?
I saw it and I didn't even click on the picture.
Brother.
I saw a little bit of it. He said Espeon's bad though.
Yeah.
I think that was
He plays the Flareon, the Sylveon, the EVEX, Water, Ogerpon, Radzard, 3 Crispin. Maybe we should get a little Crispin's corner going here. Got the E-Switch, the 2 Glass Trumpet. This list is kind of hot. Talk about what's hot. Maybe it's EVEX time with the 4-3 Noctowl line.
It's a little spicy, but we're in 2025. Are we saying stage one that has 2 energy for 130 that adds 2 energy to the bench from your deck? Is are you calling that a good deck?
Arceus Armorage is doing good, so why can't?
But that's at least 180, right?
For what it's worth, I played against one of these and I absolutely destroyed it with Tina earlier.
If Tina can beat it, it cannot be that hot.
You're right. Never mind. You're right. I'm sorry.
I think there's nothing we can say after that.
Yeah, if you're losing to Tina, just pack it up, guys. Just quit. Oh my god, I'm gonna lose to Tina in Mexico.
Whoa! Don't be hating on the folks that say Tina's crap.
Mexico.
I swear, if I hit a Tina deck in Mexico and lose, I'm gonna lose.
Eric Ridgway on the winning end on stream.
Brother,
Tina.
Stop.
I'd be right there sharing the clips of you trash talking Tina. Be like, hey, the guy getting smoked, but no. Nah, if you're making it on stream, you're killing it. You go win the whole thing.
I can't win the whole thing.
Well, okay. Go get a top 16, whatever you want. Whatever your heart desires.
For those of you that don't know, I have to leave Mexico early on Sunday. And so if I make finals or top 4, I probably won't be playing in top 4. But
pick up the cards and go home.
We're going to get as many points as we can this weekend.
Yes, sir. Eric and I'll be out in Merida, like we said earlier. Again, anyone else joining us out there, please come and find us. We'll love to meet y'all. I took 4 years of Spanish in high school. They did not stick around, so
Cerveja, por favor.
That is a good one. If you're over 21, let us know what that means in the comments below.
I think that's going to put a wrap on this week's episode of the Beach Court Podcast. We'll be back next week for our EU. Sorry, no, that's not UIC week. Our recap of Mexico. Wait, is that right? I can't do.
Hey, next week.
We'll be talking about Pokemon.
Yeah, next week's will be a little more Pokemon stuff. We're gonna be have a little intermediate week. Not gonna be quite our UIC upload. We'll be reflecting a little bit on how things went in Merida, and maybe also finding a fun new segment of some stuff to talk about, and on a little bit of a week before the big bad UIC episode.
We're going to Europe, baby. Anyways, everyone, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this content, please press like, subscribe, and comment below on this YouTube video. It helps us tremendously. Thank you so much for your kind words and support. We'll be back next week with a new episode of the Beach Court Podcast.
See you.